Today I'm going to be doing a video about RNG manipulation, as I feel like there's not really a lot of video-based guides that can kind of help out explain how manipulation works. So I kind of want to help with that. Now this could be just kind of a video to help complement my twosome manip guide. And I've had people tell me that they don't quite understand how the manipulation works. So I'm going to try to explain that today. So as you can see here, I have my RNG values displayed on screen. I'm actually going to go ahead and reset. And as you can see, upon resetting, it goes back to the default values of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. So RNG 1 and 2 is like an action-based RNG. Like everything you do, be it a cursor movement, a button press, this will advance RNG 1 and 2. And I will touch on RNG 3 when we get to that point. So because I've done something, I'm actually going to reset again because I don't want to advance RNG more than I have to. So to start, you want to make sure when you go to a new game that you're on fast and then whatever flavor you want to do. You cannot do any extra cursor movements there, so you have to set that stuff up and then reset. So when naming your characters, you need to do one character names. And you need to do at least 20 cursor advancements. So this is the RNG values that you're looking for. This will be your 20 different cursor movements along with one character names. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. Now I will be using save states and the rewind function. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward. None of this really matters. Okay, so now I can move around freely. RNG 3 is actually turned off to start. So as you can see, it is not advancing. So your movement doesn't have to be too precise here. You don't have to be, like dead on the first walk. The second one's a little bit different. So to start, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna tap down a little bit. You can walk below this, or you can try to grab it from the side. I'm just gonna go below it for now. So at this point, you have two choices. I can menu and I can equip this now. And you'll see, I think she goes down left or something. Or down right. Or I can walk out the door and equip it then. Either way is perfectly fine. I actually prefer to do it after. So she's gonna go down up for me. And now we're gonna equip the bat. So as you can see, because of every advancement I just did there, RNG has advanced. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make a save state here. I'm gonna walk down here and I'm just gonna kind of stand here. Now as you can see, every time she moves, she's advancing RNG. So when she starts and stops a movement, she's advancing that. And this is something we have to be mindful of, because when an NPC is moving and advancing, you need to get past them as quickly as possible. Otherwise, they're going to advance it again, and you don't want that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold right, and I'm going to tap down just to get around this table. And tap up a little bit. So again here, I'm going to be doing this kind of specific movement just to get through here. You don't want that guy moving again. I think he moves one time off screen. The pathing through here, as you can see, RNG 3 is off. It does not really matter too much until we get to this point. Okay, so there are some NPCs off to the left. Now we do have to be mindful of this because we want to get past them as quick as possible. Now I usually walk to this grass patch right here, and then I'll turn up. And you're gonna see I'm gonna go all the way up till just past that tree. And then I'm going to go straight up to the flowers, and then past the flowers I'm going to do an up left movement, as you can see here. Now, they're gone now. They no longer load after this point right here. So we can do whatever we want through this point. You just kind of walk through here. Now, he does move around here, but his movement is scripted, so he doesn't actually advance RNG. And you don't want to overmash. Let's see, he can move around, it doesn't do anything. If you get shush cop or you overmash through there, you might as well reset. I'm gonna make my way back down. Now this is a very kind of tight movement you gotta do. You kind of want to be along this this line here, and then just kind of go behind. It is a tight movement. You do have to be careful there because if you bump into something and get stuck, most likely the entertainers that are off to the left will move again. I'll make another save state so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about here. See these guys down here. These guys are what's messing you up. And they don't start until... oh, right here. This is when they start moving. And like right up in here is when they stop. As you can see, there's your range. This is the super tight movement you need to work on right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my way back to the house. Again, RNG3's off. Your movement does not really matter too much. So now I'm gonna be walking past that cop again. I do have to be mindful of what he does. Usually he goes up, down, but there are a couple different things he can do that could result in a backup. I'm just gonna make my way right up through here. So he went down, which means this is a backup, but I don't have to do any extra inputs. Hopefully. Depending on how you walk past those entertainers can kind of determine what he's gonna do. So now, as you can see, RNG3 has advanced. RNG3 is on, and my movement does matter. So she should go up and then right. I'm just gonna hold, or up and left. Just gonna hold the button. So I'm gonna go about halfway down this room, and then go up and bump into this couch, and continue on. Okay, so the best way I can explain this is RNG3 is a movement-based RNG, and I wanted to show it advancing here as I'm moving along. So basically, the world is split up into 64 by 64 pixel grids. So we'll say it's like this. You know, every 64 pixels, you're gonna have a line. Every time you cross this line, you're going to advance RNG3. And I believe every 16th value RNG3 updates, it actually updates RNG1 and 2. So what this means is if your RNG3 gets off, like you're too far ahead, you will actually advance RNG1 and 2 wrong, and then you're just, it's going to be off completely, so you'll have to reset. So at this point, I do have to be mindful of my movement. There is a pretty specific path that I'm going to be taking. But yes, the grid lines is kind of what is determining your RNG3, which is why we do take a pretty specific path. I'm just going to go ahead and mash continue through here. We're just going to go over, talk to mom. So there's nothing moving here. Because there's nothing moving, I don't have to worry about RNG advancing. Now, if I do move around here, let's make another save state. You can see, as I cross this line, I'm actually advancing RNG3. And as I advance RNG3, it says advancing RNG1 and 2. This is kind of what I was referring to. I believe there's one... oh, okay, well there isn't one this way. Oh yeah, there's one right here on the bottom. As you can see, the bottom pixel there advances it. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to be mindful of the movements that mom's gonna make. There's a few different things she can do that I do need to kind of watch for. So if I go down here, you're gonna see both of them are moving. Now they're gonna be advancing RNG very, very quickly, so getting through here as quick as possible matters. You kind of want to just walk down to like right up in here. These lines along the floor. This is kind of your walking point. You can go a little bit lower, but you don't want to go too low. But I use these lines right here to kind of guide me. And then you're going to walk up into them. Try to hit somewhere in the middle. You'll see that she's going to be about halfway here. Walk over and touch the door. Now you can get stuck here pretty easy. You have to be mindful of the dog. There's a few different things she can do. In this case, she's doing the like old movement. You want the tip of her hair to be somewhere in this circle area right here. She could be just a little bit further, but if she goes too far, she's going to get an extra movement in, and you don't want that because you'll end up with a backup outside. Okay, so I'll make another save state here. I'm gonna kind of stop and then see if I can force this back up. Yeah, okay, so there's a snake, which I believe is wrong. Okay, so that one worked. That backup did work. But ideally what you want is when you walk out, there to be a dog. So you can see the dog is just gonna get stuck. This is the proper NPC placement that you're gonna want. Now I want to kind of explain something here. Because RNG 3 is on, it does kind of matter how you move through here. You can't go straight down because you're just gonna bump. So ideally you want to go just a little bit left and then down. You don't want to bump this because bumping this is going to advance RNG. As you can see right there, my RNG is advancing. So do not glide off of this. When you come out, don't do that. Go down just a little bit, straight down, diagonal, and then below this. I believe there's like a very small amount you can come down through here, but you don't want to be too low. Again, I'm gonna go down just a little bit. It's fine if I get stuck. Now, it is worth noting that if he were to be wandering around doing his thing, he would advance RNG. But because he's aggroing me, he will not advance RNG. So below this bush, I need to do an AB. And as you can see, the RNG is going to advance by 3 values when I do this. An A advancement is usually 1. And then like a B button press would be like 2. So AB would be 3, as you can see here. I'm not gonna save state. Now, I do need to go between the cliff and the bush. I'm just gonna go left and then down left a little bit. You can kind of fix yourself here. Again, nothing's moving. You have a crow here, and the crow's just gonna fly into the wall. That's kind of what you're looking for. Now, I did wait a little bit too long there, but as you can see, it's gonna fly into the wall. You kind of want to glide there because you don't want to take too long. And then somewhere along, this general area, you're going to go diagonal up left. There's going to be this one. Of course, it's stuck. It can't get to you. Now, you don't want to go too high here because if you go too high, you're going to advance RNG 3. You kind of want to just kind of glide off of this spot right here. Somewhere like this. And another thing to note is you don't want to go too far. You want to just make your way to this empty area and then go down. You don't want to be way down here. This is going to advance it weird. You don't want to do that. Okay. So now I actually need to start doing inputs. This line right here, this is your first input you're going to do. You're just going to do another AB. And then make your way over a little further. And then somewhere along here, you want to do AB, AB. So 2 AB inputs. Now I've seen people, they would come up through here and then they would do this. Right here somewhere, it advances RNG. You don't want to do that. You want to go all the way to the peak of this point and then diagonal up. So try to avoid this area if possible. So now I'm going to be going past the entertainers again. It's another tight movement that I do need to be mindful of. You want to get through there as quick as possible. Now I'm going to be going behind the bushes this time, not in front of it. So it is worth noting that you do have to kind of practice this part because you will get stuck. If you're too early, you're going to bump, and this is going to be a rip because RNG is going to advance weird right here. And if you're too late, you're going to bump over here somewhere, and then these guys are going to load in, and it's just going to be a bad time. So it is something that you got to kind of feel out. You can correct yourself. Okay, well, I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, I think I forgot the inputs. And then same thing, only this time, there's a crow up here. You don't want to go through here and then glide up, because there is an RNG 3 line right here. You do have to pass this RNG 3 line because you do need that extra advancement. So you ideally want to come up over to just above this and then go back down along the flower patch, or it's pretty lenient what you do through here. You do want to make sure that you do this. You make a save state here. As you can see here, there's an RNG 3 line right here that you do have to cross. Now you don't want to go too low. I do recommend that you kind of push your luck just to see how far you can go. So as you can see, here's your RNG 3 line here. I like to glide. It does make things a little more consistent. Now this can be a bit of an annoying area. I have seen people mess this up. There are some RNG 3 lines along here that are like this. So you have to kind of choose if you're going to go up and then over, or if you're going to go up over here and then up. Typically I'll kind of come up and then go over to here and then kind of do this. Now this is another point that I found people have trouble with. There's an RNG 3 line like right here, that it's right above this. If you go too high up here and then over, you will get an extra RNG 3 update, and that'll be a rip. So what I like to do is I'll just kind of make it to somewhere like right up in here, and then I'll just start gliding on this, and I'll glide right over. So we'll make a save real quick. Now it should be right here. As you can see, there's a very, very fine RNG 3 line right above that. You do have to be mindful you don't want to go too high there. Through here, pretty particular. I mean, you just choose how you want to get through. Try to glide, or at least stay, I think, somewhere right around here. I'm gonna find out real quick. Okay, so yeah, I'm spawning enemies here. You don't want to go down here. You want to try to glide right here. Which one was it? So glide off of this. At this point, you're not going to have any enemies. You could choose to come up this way, or you could choose to cross over and then diagonal up. It's not too particular. Again, don't go too high here. Try to come up this cliff edge and then glide. And then tap down a little bit. Now, there's no enemies at this point, so you should be fine. So something you could do here is you could choose to go, I believe, just far enough over, and then go up and then over. And this will put Pokey close to the meteorite, because Buzz will fly close to Pokey, and you're gonna see that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip through. Alright, so from here, there are a few different things I can do. Now, I did come up with a different input set. It is a little bit more lenient. Now, the old Manip, if you're just going to do Starman Manip, I recommend you just do the old kind of route. So I'm not going to do anything up here, but I can. Typically, which one did I save under? Okay, so you would do an AA, which is 28 advancements. And then you would do AB times 3, which is 9. And then L times 3. Now when doing the L's, you have to be mindful because you can hit this meteorite. Now that I've done these inputs, I can actually skip going to the bread roll. Now RNG3 is off, so your movement here doesn't matter too much, but you do have to be mindful of the entertainers. This is a very tight movement. You don't want to be over here. This is a problem. If you're doing the old one, you can't. You want to try to get close to this bush and kind of glide off of it, and then either go down below these or between them. Your choice on that matter. So as you can see, this is the RNG values you want. 303F. This is the correct RNG that you're looking for to do Starman. So I'll go and showcase this real quick. Again, how you walk through here doesn't matter. RNG3 is turned off. So in this case, what you're going to want to do is just go to auto fight. You're going to see 1, a shield, and then 1, and then he's going to guard, and they're going to hit for 109. Now, on the second PSI shield, you're going to hold B, because you want to cancel auto fight here. Okay, so on your turn, you're going to press B, and then bash. And that'll be Starman Manip. So another one that I came up with, and this one is a little more lenient, it still allows for bread roll skip, is you'll just do an AB. Make your way down. You're gonna skip the bread roll. The bread roll skip is mandatory for the new twosome manipulation. Okay, so now I don't really have to be too mindful of what I do here. It's a little bit more lenient doing this one versus the old one with all the inputs. So I can just kind of do what I need to do here. Now you're going to see I'm at a different RNG value. This is fine. You're usually going to end up in 4193 doing this. So in this case, I'm going to do AB, AA, and then L times 3. And that'll put me right back where I need to be. This is actually the preferred one because it's one less AB input because I'm only doing AB times 2, just in a different place. So the old one, you would actually just do an AA input here. And this is recommended if you're just going to do Starman Manip to start with, because you do need the bread roll, and this will allow you to get the bread roll. To just do an AA, we're going to grab the bread roll, no more inputs are needed here. And you'll see we end up back on 303F. And start the fight again. And that is Starman. So RNG3 is still off. I mean, how you choose to walk through here is kind of on you. So what I do is I'll typically come up here, kind of glide on this, and then up over to this, kind of walk along it, and then try to hit, you know, the side of the door there. It's just faster that way. So you're gonna go straight left, and then talk to him. You could diagonal up to him, or you could choose to just kind of go straight left and then up into him. She's just gonna kind of wander up out of the way. At this point, you're just gonna kind of mash. Oh, I kind of messed that up. Okay, let's just rewind real quick. Alright, you're gonna see he's gonna die here. I'm gonna hold down. Now you can choose to touch the bottom pixel and then go. It is important that you do touch the bottom pixel. Like, that is mandatory. It does increase RNG3. Because RNG3 is back on at this point, so your movement does matter. But you could choose to go down about halfway, and then down over, and then over. That is an option. So we're just gonna kind of mash through. Okay, so we're just gonna make our way over. They're not gonna move again, that we can see anyway. And then just come out the door. And that is the Starman manipulation.